Hello, my name is Halvin Montiel, and today I am going to show all of you how to draw the members of Bad Data, or at the very least, my best practices for doing so. Yeah, let's just jump right into it, starting with Nega. He is a little tricky to draw if you don't really know the anatomy of his facial structure. Something I had a lot of trouble with when I was younger was I would always make his face markings too big to fit on his actual head. I still have that issue sometimes, but you're going to want to start with a circle. His muzzle is kind of just like a trapezoid, sort of, that just sticks onto his face. Try not to make the muzzle too long. Uh, his eyes are like diamond shape. You want to do the top, then the bottom, and place the pupil in there. Maybe not that small. There, like so. And then draw in the facial markings. Try not to go too far out of the lines. His little nose is like a triangle shape. You can do whatever you want for the mouth, but usually I make it stick against the bottom of his muzzle. And then the tricky part that a lot of people seem to get tripped up on are his horns. Now, his horns are actually pretty easy if you know how to break it down. You do a soft, like, rectangle, and then you bring a curve down. Like, think of like a waterfall coming from the top of the square down. This isn't the best example. It's very angular. There, like so. Yeah, that looks better. They're pretty tall. And on his left side, he's got a stripe, and the rest of his horn is like purple. So that's all shaded in. Let me color that real quick. Yeah, all of that is purple on his left side. Let's go through all of those steps again a little faster so you can see my process. And from a different angle. Uh, yeah, there's his muzzle. There's his eyes. You always want to draw the pupils first and then the irises around them. His tongue is very long and snaky and has segments. On his 3D model, I forgot to add those segments, at least as it exists currently. I might update that to fix that later. And of course, you have the soft rectangles, the waterfall coming down. There's the horns. They really come pretty far down. He's very Jonan Vasquez-esque in that regard. I really like that about him. This character has existed for longer than Hell of a Boss, longer than Has Been Hotel, so whenever someone tells me he looks like an imp from that franchise, it like kills my soul a little bit. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention how to draw the bandana. Let me show you over here. So for his bandana, you'll want to block out the backside, or actually I usually draw the front side first, which is just a backwards 3 shape. Then the back comes down, and then this like 7 shape, that's the fold in the middle. And then 2 little almonds in the back for the bandana ties, which the bandana ties are almost always visible. I don't really like how I got his eyes to look here, so let's try that again. God, I hope my voice is showing up correctly in this recording. There we go. Yeah, that's okay looking. I like this one a lot more though. Alright, Ega, let's move you over here and we'll move on to Inver next. Inver is a lot easier. She's got like a fucking cheese wedge head. She kind of looks like a circle a little bit, but very simplified. So obviously start with a circle like you would the rest of them. Oh wait, I need to do this on a new layer. Hold on. Merge, merge, merge. Okay. So for her, you want to do a circle. All of them start with circles. You just get that right. There we go. Top, middle, bottom. Easy. Her the bottom part of her muzzle is always shorter than the top part because it always comes like this angled point right here. This is how I draw her from the side view. And she's got these backwards D-shaped eyes. The front is always very flat. And then it comes back over here. And then that little point right there, that's where you draw her eyelash. And then just throw her hair on real quick. Try not to make it too long. Her hair is actually pretty short. And then you've got her little cheek marking, which is like, it's like a lightning bolt, kind of. And then we've got her mouth. Her ears, people tend to get tripped up by her ears, but all that it is it's like a cone shape. Two soft cones that are like attached together from bottom to top, if that makes sense. So like so. Two very fluffy cones. It comes together in the middle like this, if that helps to imagine it in a three-dimensional space. You could see that on her model, but I haven't gotten any like good close-up shots of her ears, so it's a little hard to describe. She's got one streak of white going through the black part of her ears on, I believe, her left side. I can't remember if it's her left or her right, but yeah, that's how you draw her. She's a lot easier. But drawing her from the front, not even I'm that good at that yet, so don't worry if you can't figure it out. Usually I just start with the nose, and her eyes fall kind of behind it. Again, with the D shape, flat edge, round sides. So, hair, cone ears, cheek fur, lightning bolts. Kind of Ash Ketchum-y in a way. That was my big obsession when I was a little kid. My very first OC that I ever had was Ash Ketchum as a werewolf, if you could believe it. That's the best I can do for a quick sketch of Inver from the front. Bombs away. She looks like she's looking over at somebody like, huh? What'd you say? Anyway, there's her. Next we're gonna do, so it's Nega Inver. Now we've got Alt. Alt is fun. I really like drawing Alt. He's a little guy. So you've got, God fucking damn it. There you go. That's the best circle I've done so far. I always start with his horn, which is up, then a curve, straight line, then a curve. His eyes are nice and round, very round eyes. Circles and circles and circles. His pupils are actually white due to the color inversion glitch that they all have. Those aren't highlights in his eyes. Those are his pupils. They're just bright fucking white. And then he's got a similar muzzle shape to Nega, where you pull out the top and then bring it down to the bottom. But his is much, much shorter. And then the tricky part with drawing him is always his ear paws. I like to bring out like a top bump on either side where his ear paws connect. And then you've got this marking that is like a teardrop, kind of. No, that's kind of... Oh, I should bring this up for Nega as well. But I'll show that in a minute. Anyway, kind of upside down teardrop. Then you've got the little circle right there. And he sort of wears a bandana. For a long time, I thought that was just a chest marking, but it's actually a bandana. That's kind of part of his skin or something. I don't know. It's hard to describe. It's never actually mentioned in canon what the fuck Terriermon has around their neck. So I'm not going to mention it either. But yeah, there's Alt. I'm going to go back over to Nega really quick to show an important fact about how to draw him. When you're drawing Nega's mouth open, something that I almost always do with his teeth is that they're drawn like ocean waves. So, like so, like that. That's how I always draw his teeth. It's pretty sharp looking. That's why I go for that. God, I made his lower jaw so fucking thick. That looks weird. Uh, yeah, just a quick little detour about Nega. But anyway, yeah, that's alt. That's kind of how I draw alt. Him from the front is interesting. When viewed from the front, his horn is curved on both sides. Then we'll do his little ear paw stumps. They're a lot smaller from the front. You can just bring it down like that. And then we'll do his little thing. Erase that. There we go, his little cheeks. Because he does have little cheeks. His head is not perfectly round. Like this isn't the best example, but that's like the gist of how I draw him. I'm gonna make him fold his arms here. Just occurred to me, I didn't really show how to draw the rest of their bodies, but that's okay. I'll probably do that in another video. At some point. I can at least show how to draw Nega's torso, because his is interesting. But anyway, there's Alt. Let's move him over here. Lastly, we have Rever, who's also a bit difficult to draw from the front, so I'm gonna do his side view first. Rever's head is extremely blocky. Like, he's got a big, thick, furrowed brow. His eyes are almost always half open. But his muzzle is very, very blocky. Big old chunk of block or whatever. Curved, curved, flat. And we'll do his nostril. I don't know if he has teeth sticking out or not, but I'm gonna do him with his mouth closed this time. I always start with a round eye. Gotta pull it back a bit. Okay, wait. Furrowed brow goes right there. Ear, curve up, curve down, curve, curve. That's how you do the ears. Curve up, curve down, curve, curve. There, that's the basic ear shape. Do the circle for the eye. Do the lid. Marking back here, marking in front. Then he's got this little thing right there that's like, I don't know what you would call that, like a V shape. And then a little triangle right here. And then the most important markings on his face, I think, are his brows and the triangle between his eyes. So this is technically a marking, so that's his brow. And then he's got this triangle between his eyes right there. There you go. His markings are all silver, so don't shade them in. That was an issue I used to have when I was younger, is I would forget that his markings were silver and I would just shade them in really dark. So don't do that. His markings are not dark. I actually was originally going to give him white pupils like Alt, but it didn't look right to me, so I left them black. He does, however, have black, like jet black teeth, which looks really fucking cool. So there's that. That's the basics on how to draw a Rever. I'm getting kind of burnt out, so I don't know if I want to draw him from the front, but yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's how you draw him. Ah, fuck it, I got enough energy. Let's draw him from the front. The big old block, very soft, very angular trapezoid, I think. That's smaller on the bottom than it is on the top. Circles, half-lidded, pupils, markings. I made his eyes way too big here, but I don't care. There's the soft triangles for his spines on his cheeks. And then the markings on his face. Yeah, that is not the best looking ever, but for the sake of the tutorial, I have to attempt to draw him. I have way better drawings of him from the front than this, but that's fine. But yeah, that's how you draw them. There you go. Uh, hope you enjoyed watching, and excited to see your guys' fan art or whatever's if you decide to do any. That'd be really cool. See you guys later.